Now, I know everybody has seen this article right here where Forbes predicts that Anthony Joshua will lose in 2019. And as you guys know, I did a video called Why Anthony Joshua Will Not Lose in 2019. And I broke down my reasons why and basically told you guys in a nutshell that whoever wrote that article had to be in complete and utter casual with no knowledge of boxing whatsoever, you know. So if you guys want to go back and check that out, you can. But I had some guys watching my video, and they were talking about this Forbes prediction and what they said. And I said that, you know, you can't take what the Forbes say seriously, and you can only take it with a grain of salt. Plus, adding to that, whoever wrote the article obviously doesn't know shit about boxing. But I go to tell them how Anthony Joshua, he's so big that it's always up under the scope. And he's so big that it allows room for other people to slip past certain things and for people to not see certain things. And people don't talk about it because Joshua just commands so much attention, and they purposely will leave out anything that'll make their fighter look like they're in a bad light. So while we all remember this article right here that Forbes did, and everybody seemed to do a video about it and everybody jumped on it, the Boxing Voice, Hat Man, you know, Nestor Gibbs, Boxing Ego, and everybody jumped on it and everybody has something to say, you know. But do you want to know what I noticed? It's funny how everybody has something to say about this time Forbes magazine decided to write about Anthony Joshua, but they totally ignored this. Yeah. 5 reasons why Deontay Wilder is not the star that he should be. You know, so if they're going to take what the Forbes magazine says, you know, and take it into consideration and give it enough consideration to make a video about it and to talk about it, then how come when Forbes came up with this article, nobody said 2 words about it? So you guys know me, you know, I believe in balance. So let's go ahead and get into why Forbes thinks Deontay Wilder is not the star that he is. Okay, now the first one they got is unrefined technique for most of his career. Basically, in a nutshell, no skill. They go on to say, earlier in Wilder's career, he wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing fighter to watch. Truth be told, he was wild, he was seemingly very vulnerable, and if he ever came up against a truly elite heavyweight, many fight fans placed him in a box 4 or 5 years ago. He's come a long way since his earlier years, but many in the boxing community still don't appear to be high on his skill set. You know, and that's basically the premise of everything why I dislike Wilder. You know, it's his skill set. And it's not the fact that he doesn't have the best skill set in the world. It is the fact that he purposely chooses not to improve that skill set. Okay? He constantly thinks that all he needs is this right hand, and that's all he needs to be whatever he needs to be in boxing. Supposedly be the biggest star, supposedly be this, supposedly be that. And he has a team surrounding him that can't get him to realize that, dude, if you can do this with no skill, imagine what you could do with some skill. Now, see, that's what raises the question on Deontay Wilder. And I said this before. Deontay Wilder is nowhere near dangerous as he could have been. As he could have been if he was actually shown how to put his weight behind his punches. You know what I'm saying? If he was actually shown how to sit down on his punches and get the most out of what he's trying to deliver to his opponent. But he hasn't done that. So, in other words, it's unutilized talent or unutilized gift. Okay, so the next category that they got Deontay Wilder is his opponent's anti-doping violations. Okay. And it goes on to say that Wilder has had terrible luck with his opponents He's had 3 of them fail pre-fight drug tests, and the delay has cost his potential momentum and as much as 2 years of productions and earnings. Had he faced and knocked out Luis Ortiz, Alexander Povetkin, Andrew Warshak, the narrative might look a little different for Wilder. And what I got to say about that is, his opponents have dropped dirty and stuff like that. But, man, Deontay Wilder is not the first boxer in history to go against or to have opponents drop out because of, doping policies. He's simply not. You know what I'm saying? I think that he just chooses to highlight it and not fight him. This is the problem with that right there. See, if Deontay Wilder was such on his high horse about not fighting people or not dealing with people who fought or not fighting people who has failed drug tests, then you're going to have to explain Luis Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? If it's good enough for one, it's good enough for the other. What was so special about Luis Ortiz that even though he failed the drug test, you ain't mind going to fight him? Like I'm said, he's not the only one that this has happened to, but it should not stagnate your career to the point that it has done Deontay Wilder's. Okay, so the next thing they got for him is he's not polarizing. So basically, in a nutshell, nobody likes him. It says Wilder appears to be a pretty nice guy. Most media folks who interact with him believe he's a solid interview and pleasant overall. Fans don't seem to despise him, but America hasn't embraced him either. Pre-boxing scene, Wilder implies that if he were a different color, he'd probably be more acceptable. That's not inconceivable, but probably not entirely true. Okay. It's no doubt that that's not entirely true. Because as I will always use, and one of my best examples is Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is one of the most hated people in boxing, but people know who he is. And since this article is about how come Deontay Wilder is not as popular as he should be, this fits right in that category nice and neat. Okay? So the fact that people liking you or not liking you as a fact, as playing a factor of why people don't know you is not good enough. And once again, he brings his color into play. And once again, Floyd Mayweather is his color, if not darker. And I've already said that, the fact that people liking you or disliking you has nothing to do with whether they know you or not. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody in boxing plays the nice guy. You know what I'm saying? You got the good guy and you got the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do at the end of the day with people knowing you or not. Okay? Moving on. Now, the next category that they got for Deontay Wilder, which is the most valid one, is he's not promoted well. Okay? In a nutshell, he doesn't sell. Okay? So this is what they say. With everything Wilder brings to the table, there's no reason Showtime Lou DiBella shouldn't be pushing him at every possible opportunity. Once his fights have a date, Showtime should be running countdowns on Deontay Wilder promos on the network. That doesn't happen. The Twitter account of Lou DiBella and DiBella Entertainments don't have the requisite reference to Wilder. If you scroll through Lou's Twitter feed, there is exactly one reference to Wilder from Saturday morning dating back as far as November. And that was a retweet from someone commenting on the aforementioned article. DiBella Entertainment's accounts talk up Wilder only right before and immediately after his fights. That's just not enough. He's the only American heavyweight champion, and his promoters and networks treat him as if he's just another fighter. Earlier on, it seems as if they protected him a great deal from real challenges, almost if they weren't completely believers in his skill level. Okay? Now that he's risen as high as he can without being regarded as the top draw at heavyweight in the world, it's like his team doesn't know what to do with him from a promotional standpoint. Wilder has an amazing record, but he really hasn't beaten anyone of note. Up to now, His best win came over Bermain Stavern twice. The first one was nice as it brought him the world title, but the second one only took place because Ortiz failed the pre-fight drug test. 2 wins over Stavern isn't enough to make Wilder a star. If he's going to turn the corner, he needs to win a series of fights over the best in the division. If that happens, there will be no way to deny him what he has earned. You know, and that last one, this one right here, that he's promoted poorly, this is the nail in the coffin, you know, because they said a lot of things that was true. You know, Lou DiBella from DiBella Entertainment barely promotes or even talks about this guy on his own social media accounts. Okay. They also go on to talk about his skill level and how his team doesn't seem to believe in him. And I've always said this about Deontay Wilder. It's evident that they don't believe in Deontay Wilder. They don't believe in his skill set for the same reason that, Shelly Finkel in his 30-second fight called him a baby and said that he wasn't ready to step up and how we should have patience with him and give him time to develop. You know what I'm saying? When you 32 fights deep in, you know, you're not a baby anymore. You're nowhere near a baby. You know what I'm saying? And if you're expecting to have a diaper strapped on your ass, you know what I'm saying, with 32 fights in, then what in the hell does Wilder's team and all these joker ass promoters got an opinion to say about Anthony Joshua when he's only 22 fights in? You know what I'm saying? And has accomplished what Deontay Wilder has tried to accomplish in half the time. It makes no sense, you know. I know I just sound like a broken record at this point, you know, but I wanted to bring this up because as soon as Forbes came out and did an article about why Anthony Joshua would lose, you know, everybody has something to say about it. You know what I'm saying? So evidently, you know what I'm saying, that they pay attention to you know, Forbes and what they have to say and whatnot. So I'm just saying, if it's so relevant, you know what I'm saying, what Forbes magazine is printing about boxers, then why did we skip over this? You know what I'm saying? These are things that not to be talked about. And unlike the article about Anthony Joshua, what was written by a complete ignorant casual, this person that wrote this article right here actually knows what they're talking about. This is actually accurate, you know, but it's funny how when Anthony Joshua name ends up in the Forbes magazine for something negative, everybody's eyes and antennas go up. OK, but when they came out and said 5 reasons why Deontay Wilder is not as popular as he is, did you see anybody talk about this? I haven't seen it. I'm just saying. And this was done, January 6th, 2018. You know, so I didn't see nothing on it. So I thought it was only fair, you know, if we can bring up and talk about Anthony Joshua and what they say about him in the Forbes magazine, then why haven't we bring up Deontay Wilder's? And the difference is this one is a better, more accurate article. And the person who wrote it knows what they're talking about. At the end of the day, Deontay Wilder is promoted poorly because his team does not believe in him. Plain and simple. Lou DiBella is supposed to be his promoter, this monster promoter. And as you see, he barely tweets or even talks about him. So at the end of the day, Deontay Wilder and everything he has done with his career and how listen, it's not me treating Deontay Wilder as a joke and everybody else treating Deontay Wilder as a joke. His team around him treats him like a joke. Obviously. Anyways, I just thought I'd drop this on y'all guys' radar. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I like to keep things on an even keel out there. You know, and I figure, you know, if we can speak on Anthony Joshua and what they say about him in the Forbes magazine, it's only right that we see what they said about Deontay Wilder. You know? But anyways, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Bruce Vane, I'm out.